I'm Charity,
And I'm Sara. We're sisters who do everything together.
including accidentally choosing the same career.
Although we're mostly known for media, we started out as artists.
Here's our story in our first episode of Color Me Wichita. One thing that is great about Wichita is that it's actually a pretty big art scene. When you drive around town, you'll see murals. We've got mark arts and city arts where you can go and take classes. There's a lot of things happening here in town, and we just wanted to be a part of that. I started doing media at a very young age. We grew up in Indiana, and at the church that we went to, they had a media camp. And so it was divided into video production and then graphic design. And so you'd spend a couple weeks doing both.
That really got me into media. Like, it introduced me to something that I didn't really know existed.
There was a couple times where we either got to help run camera, or I remember sitting with my dad in the audio booth, and while he would run audio, I would sit with him and kind of watch what he was doing. So I guess that was my first initial experience with media.
I knew I was going to be an artist. I think I've known that probably since I could pick up a pencil. But I always thought it was just going to be, a painter. You always associate art with painting. According to my mom, I think I probably started drawing when 2 years old, maybe, at least when I was old enough to actually be able to hold a crayon in my hand or something. So I've always been artistically blessed, which I think is great. And maybe that's what I thought I was going to do. And then I was introduced to like computers. And I was like, you can do art on the computer? You can do video? And that just opened up a whole new world for me. You can do traditional art, but there was also a digital aspect, and especially now in this day and age, you can put the two together and make amazing art.
If I were to go back to my college days and think about the subjects that I were actually good at in school, I probably would have picked something along the lines of traditional art and maybe creative writing. None of which is really going to catapult you into the media world. Most of the time when people major in art, you're told, oh, don't major in art because you're not going to be able to make money, or you might be able to teach, but you'll get fired because arts are the first to get cut in the school program, so you're not really encouraged to pursue art. My decision to go into media and really considering more of an art form was after high school. I did an internship with a Christian youth ministry in Texas, and during my second year there, I went on tour. That was just really exciting to me to do live production. And then during that time, I was like, yeah, I think I could do this. There's a really creative art form to it, and I ended up studying film production and learned more about how it was an art form. So that was sort of my compromise, so to speak, of how to do art and media and turn that into a career.
I use a lot of products like Photoshop, Illustrator, a lot of things that I can actually use in a traditional way, but still add a digital flair to it. There was a time where I had completely lost all confidence of being an artist. I think it was around the time I graduated from college, or maybe a little bit before, and I got so intimidated because it felt like no matter how good I tried to do my art, it didn't seem like I was improving. So I just stopped drawing altogether for years. I actually just stopped.
There's always going to be someone that's better than you. Even if you're at the top of your game, there's going to be somebody that can one-up you. And so that feeling of intimidation as an artist is something that every artist in any medium has experienced. I'm embracing myself as a professional and having more confidence in what I do know and what I can bring to the table.
May 1st of 2016, I decided to be an artist again. I actually got to draw some stuff in a sketchbook, and it showed that, okay, I haven't lost my touch. And I think from 2016 on, I've gotten more proud of my work. I'm a big fan of history, so I like incorporating history aspects to my art. The thought of things happening before I was born just amazed me. I think the Wonderland Park documentary was my gateway to merging art and history together, because I had to do everything. I had to do all the designing for that. Not just for the film, but for promotions, business cards and stuff for social media, all the graphics, all that. And so I realized that's actually a lot of fun.
The idea of Color Me Wichita is something that came to me this summer. I think I was looking for an excuse to do some more traditional artwork since my work as a videographer kind of keeps me busy and I don't get a chance to do it as much. It was something that I kind of saw on YouTube where you take a scribble or a marking of some sort and you create a art piece out of it. And so I told this idea to Sarah, she went along with it. So I'm making a scribble marking for her and she's doing one for me. But the twist is that we're gonna make a project that's based on our films that we've created. So Sarah is gonna do one that's based off of the Wonderland Park documentary. And then my challenge is that I'm going to make a piece based on the Raja Rabbit film.
I guess we'll make this proper. I'll have you close your eyes.
Okay, eyes are shut.
All right, here we go. Turning it around and open your eyes.
Is it a circus act, like on a high wire?
For the most part, yeah. The way you drew it actually reminded me of a bicycle. It's based off of a performer. Her name was Lenora Davenport, part of the Great Davenports, a bicycle high wire act. And one of their big things was that she was covered head to toe, as well as the bicycle, in electric lights.
I know it was supposed to be like mainly a drawing challenge, and I sort of drew it, but then I kind of turned it into something different. So, you ready for mine? Open your eyes.
Ooh, I like that.
If you remember, you didn't look when you drew it, you just did a scribble. But it just so happened that the shape that you made a weird shaped rabbit. But the idea of this collage is that it tells part of the story of Raja Rabbit. I did some drawing, some stenciling, some collage work. You've got all the money that he scammed out of Wichita. You see the music notes, which represents the radio show that he was on at Hobby Lobby. In the dollhouse section, they also had tiny newspapers. And so that represents the advertisements that he put in the paper. And my personal favorite, the Monopoly Go Directly to Jail.
Oh, yeah.
Because Porter did do some time in jail.
Yours tells like an actual story.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to our backstory and hearing our journey into the artistic and media world.
We're looking forward to bringing you more art on Color Me Wichita.